When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious
welcome to another edition of the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. The date is the 8th of November 2020, and what a very stressful week it has been, I have to say. But yes, we made it to the weekend. Everything's all right. As you can see, no green screen behind me this week, but as always, we're bringing you 8 rounds of tricky trivia questions based on stuff that's been going on and other bits and bobs coming up for you this evening. Alright, let's see. If this is your first time playing Big Nerd Pub Quiz, you're very, very welcome. If not, this is how you play. Very, very straightforward. All you have to do is line up the QR code on your mobile phone. That'll give you access to tonight's answer sheet. Very, very straightforward. There's also a link in the YouTube description below. But yes, all the answers are there. All the selections of answers are there. But this is how you play. All you have to do, open up the Google Doc. Pop in your email address at the top. Answer the multiple choice questions as they come out. 8 questions. 8 rounds, 6 questions each. Only 1 correct answer per question. There's no trick questions in this. Once the quiz is finished, all you have to do is hit submit and you'll get your scores at the very end of the night. But do stick about for the answers. Recommended that you stream the quiz on a laptop or television and play using the Google form on your phone or other device. Like I said, there's the QR code again. And like I said, good luck and have some fun. It's all a bit of crack. And yes, Harbourside Radio is the new home of the Big Nerd Pub Quiz, as it has been since September. This is probably the second month doing the quiz on this fantastic new radio show, our new radio channel. Check out some of the shows that we got going on Harbourside Radio. All on harboursideradio.com. We've got loads and loads of great music and crack all week. Some brand new shows coming up this week, including Erase and Rewind with Sir MacDonald. We got country music. We got Big O's Sunday show every Sunday and his breakfast show every weekday at 11. The rock show with Amy. The blues show, very, very popular with Ian Sands. And there's loads and loads of others. Just check out our website, harboursideradio.com, for more details on that. Also, you could be in a chance to win a new iPhone 12 from our competitions page, so do check that out. For more information, go to harboursidecompetitions.com. Entries only 5. This isn't to be missed. If you want to shout out at any point tonight, by all means get in touch via all the different social media channels there. On Big Nerd Pub Quiz, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tons and tons of quizzes out there for everybody. If you're into like Disney or Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, football. Coming Saturday, check out the social media channels for more details on that. Also, if you want to hire the Big Nerd Pub Quiz for socially distanced office events, by all means get in touch, bignerdpubquiz@gmail.com. It's fully customizable and we've got tons and tons of links and make it as flexible as you want. Hello, and I'm getting ready, booked up by loads of different companies for their socially distanced Christmas parties this year. So by all means, do get in. Me sitting up all night watching CNN over and over again, and I have to say, brilliant job that they did covering the US election. Like I said, at one point I started developing feelings for Anderson Cooper. Anyway, tonight, 8 rounds, 6 questions each. Hope you're all ready and set to go. Here is the first round. As always, like we do it, it's the general knowledge round. Alright guys, hope you're all ready. Let's get kicked off. And yes, what other way to start off a quiz this week? We're talking about the events, but yes, let's see how closely you've been paying attention to them. But yes, assuming it all goes to plan, round 1, question 1, and Donald Trump is not the president by February 2021. But then who was the last one-term US president? Okay. You got 4 answers in your answer sheet. There's been a lot of talk about this. It's really hard to knock out a sitting president. It's one of those things. It's very, very, very difficult to do. And Donald Trump is going to join a very, very small club here. But round 1, question 1. Who was the last one-term president of the United States of America? Donald Trump joining that list if his lawsuits don't get to the result he wants. Round 1, question 2. Round 1, question 2. So which cartoon bear which first appeared in the Daily Express is turning 100 years old this November? So it's round 1, question number 2. Round 1, question 3. In the news this week, which luxury car brand has unveiled plans to go fully electric by 2030? Can safely say this is a car I probably won't have enough money to ever own, but you never know. But yes, in the news this week, which luxury car brand announced that it would be going fully electric by the year 2030? So that's round 1, question number 3. Round 1, question number 4. This is breaking news for me, actually. This just came in when I was writing the quiz about 2 or 3 hours ago. But legendary quiz show host Alex Trebek sadly passed away today. In which US program is he most famously remembered for hosting? It's round 1, question 4. I'll give you a clue. The answers are always in form of a question. But there's never been an English version of this, or a UK version of this, or even an Irish version of this. But again, a legendary quiz program. But which US program is he most famously remembered for hosting? So name that quiz show. Round 1, question 5. Which former mayor of New York held a press conference outside of a landscape gardening center this week? It was called the Four Seasons, and initially when everyone thought this was going to be the Four Seasons in Philadelphia, they thought, oh, it's going to be that big fancy hotel. Nope, it was at the Four Seasons gardening center in the suburbs between a crematorium and an adult bookstore. Go figure. But yes, legendary. So which former mayor of New York held a press conference outside that Four Seasons landscaping garden center this week? And your final question of this round, the general knowledge round. Which team won the men's Six Nations Rugby Championship last week after nearly an 8-month break? Interestingly enough, it was actually meant to be going to the Ireland-France game. Tickets all booked, Eurostar all booked, hotels all booked. But sadly, that was the last thing I had organised, the last bit of travel I had organised before the lockdown started. But yes, which team won the Six Nations, the men's Six Nations Rugby Championships last weekend after nearly an 8-month break? And there's your roundup of general knowledge questions for this week. So yes, who was the last one-term US president? That's round 1, question 1. Round 1, question 2. Which cartoon bear first appeared in the Daily Express is turning 100 this year? 3. In the news this week, which luxury car brand has unveiled plans to go fully electric by 2030? 4. Alex Trebek sadly passed away. Which US program is he most famously remembered for hosting? 5. Which former mayor of New York held a press conference outside a landscape gardening center? And 6. Which team won the men's Six Nations Rugby Championships last week after nearly an 8-month break? I'll give you a little bit of a chance to look over those once again before we move on to the next round. Yes, so like I said, it's been a very, very interesting week, and it's just one of those things. You know, the news kind of was moving at a very glacial pace, but believe me, we're going to be testing you on your knowledge of the US election later on in the show. But yes, we're run down 7 to go. Here is your next round. And it's number ones. It's a music round, and it's all about number one songs in the charts. I'm going to show you 6 songs. All you have to figure out is, did this song get to the UK number 1 position? All you have to do is answer yes or no. Sounds simple enough. Let's test your musical knowledge. So here we go. Round 2, question number 1. Song favoured by buskers and lads at parties at 4 o'clock in the morning. But Wonderwall by Oasis. Did it get the UK number 1 spot? Yes or no? That's your first question. Round 2, question 1. I swear when you're in Belfast and all the buskers are out, it's like you're listening to Wonderwall in surround sound. It's like everybody's playing it. That or Here Comes the Sun. I was discussing this with someone at the weekend. Those are the 2 songs you hear mostly played by buskers. That's round 2, question 1. Wonderwall by Oasis. Did it get to number 1? Yes or no? Round 2, question 2. I think it came out in 97 or 98. Angels by Robbie Williams, former member of Take That. Did it get to number 1 as well? Favoured at many's a wedding and a karaoke classic. But did Robbie Williams' Angels get to the number 1 spot in the UK charts? Yes or no? So your second question tonight. Let's move on to the third one. Last Christmas by Wham! George Michael. Haven't heard any Christmas songs just yet. I've been lucky. You know, as soon as November drops, it's like, you get that nutter putting up the Christmas tree. You get that mental in the shop, And I know this music is a source of a lot of PTSD for a lot of retail workers out there, and I don't blame them. But Last Christmas by Wham! Did it actually get to number 1? Maybe you were alive back then. Maybe you remember. But yes, it's one of those ones. Did Last Christmas by Wham!, George Michael, Andrew Ridgeley get to number 1? Moving on, round 2, question number 4. I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. Multi-million selling single in the UK and the US, all around the world, on the soundtrack for Kevin Costner's Bodyguard. I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, actually originally written by Dolly Parton on the same day that she wrote Jolene. But did it actually get to number 1 in the UK? Let me know. Do you think yes or no? Moving on, round 2, question number 5. Another Christmas number 1 contender, or did it actually get there? Fairy Tale of New York, The Pogues, with Kirsty MacColl. Did it in fact reach the number 1 spot, considered by many to be one of the greatest ever Christmas songs of all time? But did it sell enough singles to make it to number 1 in the year it was released in 1987? It's round 2, question 5. So yes or no, did Fairy Tale of New York hit the top spot in the UK charts at any time? Alright, so round 2, question 5. And your final one, round 2, question 6. Like a Prayer, Madonna. Interestingly, one of Madonna's biggest early hits. But like all the songs, like, massive, classics. But did they actually make number one? Like, and not to say that getting to number one is a litmus test for brilliance in any way. Look at the stuff like Mr. Blobby and Bob the Builder, and it's always the Christmas ones we all seem to remember. But yes, Like a Prayer by Madonna. Did it actually get to number one or not? And there's your roundup there of yes/no questions. Oasis, Wonderwall, Robbie Williams, Angels, Last Christmas from Wham, I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, Fairy Tale of New York, The Pogues and Kirsty MacColl, and Like a Prayer by Madonna. Yes or no, did they make number one or not? And moving on to the next round. Alright, hope you found that challenging. If you want to shout out at any point throughout the quiz, by all means do get in touch with me via all the different social media channels that we've got shown here on the left. We've got on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. You can follow Harbourside Radio on Harbourside. If you look us up on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, we're at Harbourside Rad on Twitter, because Twitter limits the amount of characters you've got on your username. So it sounds like a 90s surf shop as opposed to like a radio station. But there you go. You can always drop us a line on any of those channels, and do check out the website for some fantastic programs that are coming up throughout the week from lots and lots of fantastic local talent. Anyway, moving on to the next round tonight. And it's a bit of a blast. In the past, we're doing TV shows and Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Yes, earlier on this afternoon, I was walking out with John Rafferty and Declan McKay, and like always on a Sunday afternoon when we generally go for coffee, I was like, right lads, any ideas for quiz question rounds? Raffo did throw this one out, and I said, you know what, that's a pretty good one. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, we did Jerry Anderson TV, so we're sticking with Kids TV for this one, because last week we did a pretty movie-based quiz. For the Halloween special. But yeah, back to television and back to kids TV. Hanna-Barbera cartoons, we all know them and we all love them. Here we go, round 3, question number 1. So what was the very first Hanna-Barbera cartoon on television? That is actually a tough one. And it's one of those ones probably taking an intuitive guess. But yes, the Hanna-Barbera studio pumping out some of the classics of our childhood and our parents' childhood, if you think about it. But what was the very first Hanna-Barbera cartoon on television? A lot of them are on ex-Disney, the guys who produced it. Round 3, question 2. Which one of the Hanna-Barbera's characters featured a character who liked to steal picnic baskets? Or picnic baskets. I think that's fairly obvious if you know your kids' TV. And is he or she there in that picture? I think they are, yep. Which one of Hanna-Barbera's classic cartoons featured a character who liked to steal picnic baskets? Round 3, question number 2. Don't worry, if you don't know the answer, there's always 4 options there on the answer sheet for you to have a guess with. Round 3, question number 3. Which futuristic Hanna-Barbera cartoon had a robotic maid called Rosie? It's round 3, question 3. Probably one of my favorite Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And like, if you grew up watching loads and loads of Cartoon Network like I did, this is one of my favorites. Enjoyed a revival in the 90s. Actually only had 1 or 2 seasons, I think, in the early 60s. But then enjoyed a revival a couple of years later and had a couple of crossovers. But which futuristic Hanna-Barbera cartoon had a maid named Rosie? Round 3, question number 4. So which 1970s Hanna-Barbera production cartoon was based on the adventures of an all-girl pop group? So yes, 1970s Hanna-Barbera production cartoon was based on the adventures of an all-girl pop music band. It's round 3, question number 4. Again, they used to repeat loads of these on Cartoon Network. Some of them on terrestrial TV. You got some of the more popular ones, but yeah, some of the kind of rare ones they're in there. But yes, 1970s era Hanna-Barbera cartoon was based on the animated was based on an all-girl pop group. It was actually made into a live-action movie. I think not so long ago, and it's actually kind of mad cult hit. But anyway, there we go. Moving on to round 3, question number 5. So which of the early Hanna-Barbera cartoons starred a blue dog who with a southern accent and wore a very dapper hat? His name may have been inspired by a character from one of Samuel Clemens's books. Samuel Clemens, aka Mark Twain. But yes, this was had a song. Again, you definitely would have remember the song, like "Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Clementine." So yes, which early Hanna-Barbera cartoon featured a blue dog with a very dapper hat and a southern accent? His name is lent from the character of a book by Mark Twain, aka Samuel Clemens. So that's round 3, question number 5. And finally, the last Hanna-Barbera question today. This is one of my favorites, actually. I'm really glad I got this one in. But which character or characters drove the bulletproof bomb in the cartoon Wacky Races? It's your final Hanna-Barbera cartoon question there. Round 3, question 6. Everybody had a favorite. Let me know yours if you give us a text in. But which character or characters drove the bulletproof bomb in the cartoon Wacky Races? I think some of the characters in it actually got spin-off series as well. But yes, last one there. Which character or characters drove the bulletproof bomb in the cartoon Wacky Races? And then you should round up there of Hanna-Barbera cartoon quiz questions there. So round 3, question 1. What was the very first ever Hanna-Barbera cartoon on TV? 2. Which one of their cartoons featured a character who liked to steal picnic baskets? Named after a very famous New York Yankees slugger. Just to throw that in there. So yes, which futuristic Hanna-Barbera cartoon had a maid named Rosie? Which era 70s era production which based on the adventures of an all-girl pop group? Number 5, which cartoon had a blue dog with a southern accent and a dapper hat? And finally, which character or group of characters drove the bulletproof bomb in the cartoon Wacky Races? Big fan of that show, loved it. Alright, a couple of seconds there for you guys to gather your answers, get them all together before we move on to the next round. It's a big shout out to my buddy Rosie, who actually fulfilled her quiz dream and appeared on The Chase this week. You can check that out on the ITV player. So yes, well done on your appearance on that. Like I said, I had an audition to be on The Chase, but I was actually working in Spain this time last year and I missed out on being on it. So big regret about that. But anyway, moving on to the next round. And like I said, we couldn't escape it this week. It was all over the news. It was like a very, very, very slow moving glacier. But this cannot escape it. I had to do a round about it. It's all about the US election. Biden versus Trump. Who won which state? So if you're anything like me and staying up all night watching television, you'd have probably got a very good refresher in US geography with all those red states and blue states lighting up and all the different pundits pointing at them. But now I'm going to test you on seeing who, if you remember, who won which state. I'm going to give you 6. All you have to answer is, was it Biden or was it Trump? Maybe its location might give you a clue about which one it goes. You know, the southern ones tend to go more red, the eastern and western ones tend to go more blue. But I've thrown a couple of tricky ones in there for you tonight. So let's see if you remember who won what state. Should be still fresh in your mind. So round 1, question 4. Who won this state? The state of Minnesota. Was it Joe Biden or Donald Trump? So yes, round 4, question number 1, the state of Minnesota. Very northern state, very quite rural, known for quite a large Swedish Scandinavian population that had descended there. A couple of times of Minneapolis. But yes, Minnesota. Who won that state? Did it go red or blue? Did it go Trump or Biden? Minnesota, round 4, question number 1. Moving on. Maine, the state of Maine. Round 4, question 2. Remember I was saying it's an eastern seaboard state. All the way up in the northeast. But who actually got that state? Who actually won it? Traditionally, it does go blue, but did it go red this time? A lot of anomalies in this year's presidential election. Most notably that the candidate that won didn't actually either win Ohio or Florida, which is interesting. But Maine, I'm talking about the state of Maine in New England. There's that kind of northwest corridor of states, or northeast corridor, sorry. Maine, who did it go for, Trump or did it go for Biden? Next one, round 4, question 3, Idaho. I don't know if you're like me, if Simpsons fan, I was chuckling at that one. So, round 4, question 3, Idaho. Where did it go? Did it go for Trump or did it go for Biden? One of those flyover states again. But did it swing red or did it swing blue in this year's presidential election? Idaho, that's round 4, question 3. Moving on to the next one. Round 4, question 4. Indiana. One of the lake states. Down there in the Rust Belt. Kind of sandwiched in there between Ohio and Kentucky's south of it. And you've got Michigan and Illinois beside it. Indiana. Did it go red or blue this time? Home of Indianapolis, the features the fantastic race that happens there every year. But round 4, question 4, Indiana. Which way did it go this time? Vermont. It's round 4, question 5, Vermont. Politically speaking, home of George Washington. And also Bernie Sanders. He was a he wasn't from there, but he was the senator there of Vermont. But round 4, question 5, Vermont. Did it go red or did it go blue? Was it one of those anomalies this year? Which candidate took that state? Was it Trump or Biden? Round 4, question 5. And your final US election question, South Carolina. One of 2 Carolinas. South Carolina. Did it go red for Trump or blue for Biden this year? Was it a safe state? Or was it a battleground one? Again, not mentioning the ones that they haven't officially counted yet. I think as I'm speaking, there's 2 to go. And I believe, off the top of my head, I think they're still counting Georgia and North Carolina. But it's pretty much all done. Biden got ahead by over the 270 threshold. But South Carolina, did it go the GOP or the Dems? And there's your roundup of US election questions. Which state went which way? Minnesota, Maine, Idaho, Indiana, Vermont, or South Carolina, all in play. All you have to do is match the candidate to whoever won. Seems fairly straightforward. Anyway, that's it. We're just coming up to the halfway point in tonight's quiz. Like I have to say, very, very stressful week this week. But yes, I think we got a good result. Like, you know, Joe Biden actually hailing from Carlingford, records showing that his ancestors actually left from down the road in Uri, which was amazing. But yes, enough politics for this week. If you want to shout out at any point, so like I said, do get in touch with me on all the different social media channels here. Just a couple of little other personal notices here. We've got, if you want to hire Big Nerd Pub Quiz, by all means, do get in touch with me on BigNerdPubQuiz@gmail.com. If you want to hire the quiz for socially distanced parties, and like I said, can completely customize them for your event. Check out Harbourside Radio's fantastic shows. There's so many to mention. This is only just a selection of them. If you're into your 80s hits, Sarah Campbell's there. Brian Willoughby and Catherine Craig also do a fantastic show reflecting on their varied and colourful music career. Big O, local comedian, has a Sunday show and breakfast show every day. Also check out Sports Point with myself and Sarah McDonald, and I host another music show every Wednesday night if you want to check that out too. We've also got loads of electronic music with Connor Jordan and Kevin Mack every Friday, and songs from the shows with Daryl G on Mondays at 5. So yes, if you want to give you're in the area and you want to get involved, by all means, do get in touch. info@harboursideradio.com. We're always looking for presenters and fresh talent. And don't forget, you can win a fantastic brand new iPhone 12 this week. Competition costs £5 to enter. All you have to do is answer a very, very simple quiz question. Check out harboursidecompetitions.com for more information on how to win that, and more prizes coming up over the next couple of weeks once we get that up and going. Brand new iPhone 12. And all it costs is a £5 per entry, not to be missed. Do get in touch with that. And don't forget, loads of other quizzes coming up. Like I said, Big Nerd Pub Quiz on every Sunday. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. on Harbourside Radio Facebook page and on YouTube. And normally this time of the year I should be at Star Trek conventions, but that hasn't happened because of the coronavirus. But if around those big Trekkies out there, we're organising a virtual convention, and yours truly will be hosting a Star Trek quiz. It's to entertain you all. But yes, do check that out on the social media. That's this Saturday the 14th at 8 p.m. Same kind of format. All about Star Trek, and there's lots of new Star Trek shows out there to write quiz questions about, so yes, by all means, do play that if you're interested. Alright, tonight we've done politics, we've done TV, we've done music, we've done general knowledge. We're moving on to the round that everybody loves to hate or whatever. We're doing sports next. And a very, very, very simple kind of format for this week's sports question. I'm going to be asking you how many players are on these particular teams. I'm going to show you 6 different sports, and all you have to do is figure out how many players play on a team. So just on one side, right? So we all know that football has 11 players. We all know that rugby has 15. I'm going to show you 6 others. See how you get on. Round 5, question number 1. Hurling, the fantastic ancient Irish sport. Hurling, how many players are there on a hurling team? Yes, the All-Ireland champions in hurling and Gaelic football have kicked off. Big up to the Down team who won this week. You know, lots of yous are very, very been following that. Tyrone knocked out obviously by Donegal in the football. But hurling, not so much of a big sport here. But yes, round 5, question number 1. How many players are on a hurling team per side? Round 5, question 2. And I swear this was not intentional, but from hurling to curling. Curling, interestingly, one of the national sports of Canada, involves sliding stones down the ice and using brushes. But curling, Winter Olympic sport, it's kind of like bowls. But how many players are there on a curling team? It's round 5, question 3. Round 5, question 3. Volleyball, indoor volleyball, I'm asking here. So yes, volleyball, indoor volleyball. How many players are there on a volleyball team? It's round 5, question 3. Again, volleyball is one of these sports you only really seem to watch in when the Olympics are on, but massive in Spain, massive in Greece. But yes, round 5, question 3, and big in Brazil as well. Obviously because of the beaches and everything, but there we go. Round 5, question number 4, hockey. And we're talking field hockey here, not ice hockey. How many players are there on a hockey team? Interestingly, I did not realize this, but cricket isn't actually the national sport of India. Hockey is. Which is bizarre considering they love the cricket. But round 5, question 4, field hockey. Another one of those, you only watch it during the Olympics. But how many players are there on a field hockey team? Round 5, question 4. Round 5, question 5. We all know I'm a big baseball fan, but how many players are on a baseball team in a starting lineup of a baseball team? Obviously, their squad can be pretty big, but when they're actually playing the game. Round 5, question 5. How many players on a baseball team? And biggest sport in Japan. Which is amazing considering, like, you know, it's like sumo wrestling. Football's only really come up there in the last 20 years for the Japanese. But yes, round 5, question 5, baseball. And your final question, sports. How many players are on a bridge team? Bit of a curveball, that one. But yes, in the game of bridge, how many players are on a team in the game of bridge? Again, one of those games I think you have to literally be over 50 to understand the rules. Round 5, question 6. Bridge. How many players are on a bridge team? So yeah, very straightforward sports round this week. All I'm looking for is the number of players per team. Hurling, curling, volleyball, hockey, baseball, and bridge. Very straightforward. Do you know these ones or do you not? It could be a bit of an interesting one, that one. But yes, hurling, curling, indoor volleyball, field hockey, just to clarify, baseball, and bridge. See, that was fairly painless. I always find that people really kind of just begrudge the sports round because, you know, it's one of those things. Big shout out to Stephen O'Hara. He's actually just said to me, I was supposed to be going to London next weekend to Destination Star Trek as well. Yes, but I hope to see you at the Star Trek quiz on the 14th. Sadly, like, you know, the last couple of Destination Star Treks were held in Birmingham, and interestingly, the next one was going to be held at the XL in London, which was 20 minutes away from where I used to live, and I was really looking forward to have a bit of an after party back in mind. Sadly, not to be this year, but big shout out to Neil Matthew, who's organising the virtual convention. Go on to my Facebook page for more details on that. So Big Nerd Pub Quiz on Facebook. I'm going to be posting more details about that fantastic virtual convention. We're going to have a viewing party. We're going to have quizzes. We're going to have drinking games. It's going to be really good fun with loads of other Trekkies. And I'm going to be doing it in uniform and with the green screen, with the bridge and everything, and all the look and get up. All right, enough about that. Let's move on to round 6. It's all about the arts and the Turner Prize. Yes, the controversial British Arts Prize has been baffling and amazing people for the last, since 1984. Let's see what your knowledge is like about the Turner Prize. Round 6, question number 1. So who won the very first ever Turner Prize? All the way back in 1984. It's round 6, question number 1. So who won the very first Turner Prize? So one of those things, I think either people really love it or they really hate it. I think it's kind of cool, actually, and it's produced some of the greatest British artists and talent out there, like, you know. But round 6, all about the arts. Question number 1: who won the very first Turner Prize all the way back in 1984? Round 6, question 2: which Turner Prize winner and YBA Enfant Terrible work features animals preserved in formaldehyde? So that's round 6, question 2. Which Turner Prize winner's work features animals preserved in formaldehyde? It's round 6, question 2. There's an example, one of the most famous examples of actual shark. They've also done sheep, and cows, and rotting sheep heads, and actual butterflies. It was pretty interesting stuff. I actually went to see a Tate exhibition of this artist. It's pretty cool, actually. Anyway, round 6, question number 3. As of 2019, how much money does the winning artist receive for winning the Turner Prize? Interestingly, last year, all the artists that were nominated actually submitted their work as a singular piece, and therefore all won it. Just goes to show you the collaboration there. But as of 2019, how much money does the winning artist receive for winning the actual Turner Prize? It's round 6, question number 3. Moving on, round 6, question number 4. Where was the Turner Prize hosted last year in 2019? This year, I'm not sure exactly where it was slated to be held, but normally they actually try to move it into somewhere outside of London, so it's less London-centric. But where, and obviously this year's been postponed or going to be held virtually, but where was the Turner Prize hosted in 2019? Penultimate question here of this one. Who was the first female winner of the Turner Prize? That's round 6, question 5. I'm looking for the name of the first female winner of the Turner Prize. And finally, round 6, question number 6. Which director and video artist won the Turner Prize in 1999? He later went on to win an Oscar for his film 12 Years a Slave, and also directed movies such as Shame and Hunger, both starring Michael Fassbender. But yes, round 6, question number 6. I'm looking for the video artist and director that won the Turner Prize in 1999, beating off very stiff competition, and also went on to win an Oscar in I believe it was 2013 or 2012 for the film 12 Years a Slave, and directed movies such as Shame and Hunger. So that's your final question there, and there's your roundup of arts questions all about the Turner Prize. So who won the very first one back in 1984? 2, which winner's work features animals preserved in formaldehyde? 3, how much money do you win if you get it? 4, where was it hosted last year? 5, who was the first woman to win it? And 6, who won it in 1999 and went on to win an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave? There's your 6 arts questions for this week. Alright, before we're going to move on to round number 7. Like I said, it's one of those things, I was telling to the guys there, I've been writing quite a lot of quizzes over the last couple of months. And yes, sometimes you do get hit with the old writer's block. But this week, I'm going for just a very, very basic geography round. There's no kind of theme to it. It's just 6 random geography questions to tickle your brain. Here we go. It's a geography round, round 7. Again, like I said, no theme to it. So which river runs through the city of Amsterdam? Now, lots of you have been there on stag do's and holidays and recreational tourism, as we could say. Round 7, number 1. Which river runs through the city of Amsterdam? Give you a clue and name the beer after it. It's round 7, question number 1. Round 7, question 2. Which mountain range is just west of the city of Denver, Colorado? That's it there. You can actually see it in the backdrop of the mountains there. But which mountain range is just west of the US city of Denver in Colorado? Round 7, question 2. Round 7, question number 3. What is the tallest mountain in England? Give you a clue, it's all the way up in the Lake District. And not the humble brag, I have climbed it. I've done it as part of the 3 Peaks Challenge. Ben Nevis, Scafell Pike, and Snowdon within 24 hours. Again, not bragging, but yeah. It's a tough one, that. 24 hours. It's pretty brutal in terms of a climb. Well, that's round 7, question number 4. round 7, question 5. Prior to joining the Euro in 2002, what currency did Greece use? So remember back in the old days before you went on holiday, you used to be able to amass loads of different currencies, all the new ones. They're all mostly the Euro now, but prior to joining the Euro, what currency did Greece use? So that's round 7, question number 4. Round 7, question number 5. The Tropic of Cancer is located in which hemisphere, the northern or the southern? So that's round 7, question 5. Just a basic toss-up for this one. Is it up here or is it down there? You know, you've got the equator, you've got the international date line, you've got the GMT line, and then the kind of halfway point between the North Pole and the equator, you've got that tropic. Is it Cancer or is it Capricorn? Is it the northern one? And then down, you further all the way down, you got the southern one. Is that Cancer or Capricorn? But I'm looking for the Tropic of Cancer. Is it in the northern hemisphere or in the southern hemisphere? It's round 7, question number 5. It's one of those ones. It's like, see how well you've been paying attention to maps. And finally, which country's flag consists of a gold saltire, which divides the flag into 4 parts, 2 of them being green and 2 of them being black. Now, what's a saltire? Saltire is very, if I can use something to describe it, very like the cross of St. Andrew on the Scottish flag. So we're talking like an X, right? Not like a cross, but we're like an X, which is known as a saltire. But I'm looking which country's flag. If I showed it to you, you'd probably go, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." But which country's flag consists of a gold saltire that divides the flag into 4 sections, 2 of them being green and 2 of them being black. I think the black ones are to the bottom and the green ones are to the side. All right, so picture that one in your head. If you can actually sketch it out in the time that you have. Anyway, round 7, question 6. That's your final geography question there, and there's your roundup. So yes, very, very simple, basic, run-of-the-mill geography round. Which river runs throughout the city of Amsterdam? 2, which mountain range is located just west of the US city of Denver? 3, what is the tallest mountain in England? 4, prior to joining the Euro, what currency did Greece use? 5, the Tropic of Cancer is located in which hemisphere, the northern or the southern? And 6, which country's flag consists of a gold saltire, which divides the flag into 4 sections, 2 of them being green and 2 of them being black? Okay, give you a couple of minutes to figure those out before we move on to the next round. And this is it. This is your final round for this evening. Just a big heads up on it. Just before you, once you fill out all your answers in the answer sheet, you'll have the option to submit, and you'll get your scores at the very end. But do stick about to see where you went right and where you went wrong. Okay, so last round. Said I wasn't going to be talking too much about politics and the election and all, but as we know, former President Donald J. Trump, as he'll probably be by January, was very fond of using a very particular social media tool, and that was Twitter. So this round is all about that particular social media platform. Yes, we are on Twitter, like I said earlier on, Harbourside Rad. You can find me on HughesMS86, I think. No, HughesMS. I'm just HughesMS on 86. And you can find BigNerdPubQuiz as well on Twitter. Though I don't really use it. I kind of just use it to kind of float about with news. But I'm going to ask you 6 questions all about the particular little social media brand with the bird and the tweeting. So here we go. Round 8. Final round tonight. Round 8. Question number 1. So at 125 million followers, who has the most on Twitter as of August 2020? And it's just, when you look down it, it is kind of like a real powers list. It's kind of like a most influential. Some of them will utterly astound you, how many followers they have, compared to other things as well. But yes, at 125 million followers, who has the most on Twitter as of August 2020? I have about 1,500 followers. Yeah, still a ways to go to get all the way up to there. Round 8, question 2. Who posted, "If only Bradley's arm was longer"? Best Photo Ever #Oscars, which gained over 3 million retweets. It's not the most retweeted thing. At one point it was, but it's been overtaken actually weirdly enough by I think it's like a competition. I think it might be a Malaysian competition or Korean competition. But yes, round 8, question 2. Who posted "If Only Bradley's Arm Was Longer"? Best Photo Ever #Oscars, which gained over 3 million retweets, making it one of the most retweeted retweeted photographs of all time. It's round 8, question 2. Round 8, question 3. A tweet mourning the passing of which actor currently has the most likes on Twitter? So we're not talking about retweets, we're talking about likes. But a tweet mourning the passing of which actor currently has the most likes on Twitter? Round 8, question 4. Which sports star had the most followers on the platform with over 89 million people? So which sports star has the most followers on Twitter with over 89 million people? Some say he is the best at what he does. But does he have the most? Who you're thinking of? Do they have the most Twitter followers? Are they the sports star with the most Twitter followers? It's round 8, question 4. Come on to the penultimate question of tonight. Round 8, question 5. What is the current character limit on Twitter? Initially, I remember when I signed up for it, we were all thinking it was going to replace texting in a way, and had no idea it'd be hijacked by the far right and lots of other political bots. But yes, round 8, question 5. What is the character limit on Twitter? And what I mean by that, like how many letters and spaces and numbers can you use when you're composing a tweet? So what is the character limit on Twitter? And finally, last ever question of the night's quiz, round 8, question 6. What year was Twitter founded? Yes, it was part of the wave of social media. It was actually sent by first ever tweet was actually sent by Jack Dorsey in the 21st of March of that year. And his first ever tweet was "Just setting up my Twitter." TWTTR. As part of that that era of Web 2.0 apps. But what year was Twitter founded? That's your last question tonight. Hit submit, get your scores. See how you did. There's your roundup of questions all about Twitter. So yes, at 125 million followers, who has the most followers on the site? 2. If Only Bradley's Arm Was Longer, best photo ever, #Oscars, gained over 3 million retweets, but who posted that? 3. A tweet mourning the passing of which actor currently has the most likes? 4. Which sports star has the most followers with over 89 million? What's the current character limit on Twitter? And what year was Twitter founded? You can kind of see my train of thought when it came to kind of putting that together. Like I was thinking, yes, it's a lot of politics done on it, and it's recently only the actual site itself has started to fact check a lot of very prominent people's Twitter feeds. But yes, don't forget, speaking of social media, find us on all the different channels here. Do stay in touch with us. If you have any ideas for quizzes, or you want to be on Harbourside Radio, if you have an idea for a show, if you're based in the local area, do drop us a line, let us know. info@harboursideradio.com is the email address, but we're also available on Facebook and Instagram as well. Anyway, I bet you're dying to wonder, what are tonight's answers to the quiz? Let's see how you got on. Do let me know. I'm always interested to see how people find them. I always want to see if people find them absolutely dreadfully hard or easy. But here's tonight's answers for the Big Nerd Pub Quiz, 8th of November, 2020. Here we go, round 1. So the very last one-term president, which was quite surprising given the fact that he saw the collapse of the Iron Curtain and won the first Gulf War. George H.W. Bush beaten by Clinton after only one term. Rupert the Bear turns 100 after appearing in the Daily Express all those years ago. Bentley has announced that they will go fully electric by 2030. Jeopardy! This is the show sadly presented by Alex Trebek, who passed away this week. Today, in fact. Rudy Giuliani, the mayor of New York, who held that bizarre press conference outside the Landscape Gardening Centre. And England, sadly not Ireland, were pipped to the French to win the Six Nations there last weekend. So here are your summations of... Did these songs get to UK number 1? Oasis, no. With Wonderwall, that didn't get to number 1. Robbie Williams' Angels did not get to number 1. As did Last Christmas, Wham! That got beaten out by Do They Know It's Christmas? By Band Aid 1984. Nothing was going to come near that. I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston did in fact get to number 1 and was one of those songs that set a long record at the top of the charts. Fairytale in New York by the Pogues and Kirsty MacColl didn't in fact make Christmas number 1, although it is still a bestseller every year. Keeps paying Shane McGowan's bar tabs, and was actually beaten to number 1 that year by You're Always on My Mind by the Pet Shop Boys. And finally, Like a Prayer by Madonna, yes, did in fact get to number 1 in the UK. Your next round up there, Hanna-Barbera cartoons. So the very first ever Hanna-Barbera cartoon was a cartoon called Rough and Ready. Yogi Bear was the one who loves to steal picnics. Rosie was the robotic maid in the Jetsons. Josie and the Pussycats was all about the band. Huckleberry Hound was the little bear, the little dog with the hat and the southern accent. And the Ant Hill Mob, they are the ones, the little pint-sized gangsters that drove the bulletproof bomb in the cartoon Wacky Races. There are those states. So Minnesota won by Biden, also taking Maine. Trump took Idaho and Indiana. Vermont went blue. And the GOP claimed South Carolina. Still waiting on North Carolina and Georgia. We'll look at the news as soon as this is done. Your sports round. So hurling has a team of 15 players. Curling, 4. Volleyball, 6. Hockey, field hockey, 11. Baseball, 9. And bridge, 2 players on a bridge team. Your Turner Prize questions. Malcolm Morley was the very first winner of the Turner Prize back in 1984. Damien Hirst was a Turner Prize winner who likes to have animals preserved in formaldehyde. You win 25 grand if you win the Turner Prize. It was held in Margate in Kent last year. First female winner was Rachel Whiteread. And Steve McQueen was the director who directed 12 Years a Slave, won the Turner Prize in 1999. Your penultimate round there. Geography round. The Amstel runs through Amsterdam. The Rocky Mountains are close to Denver. The tallest mountain in England is Scafell Pike. The drachma was the currency used by the Greeks. The northern hemisphere is where the Tropic of Cancer is. Capricorn Bay in the southern. And Jamaica is the flag, which is the gold saltire, which divides the flag into 4 sections, 2 of them green and 2 of them black. Pretty cool flag. And your final questions there. 125 million followers. The most popular person on Twitter is Barack Obama. Ellen DeGeneres posted that famous photograph of all the celebrities at the Oscars with 3 million retweets. You know the one I'm talking about. Chadwick Boseman, that tweet about him from his personal account, has the most likes. Cristiano Ronaldo has the most followers, is the sports star with the most followers. There's a 280 character limit on Twitter. It used to be 180, they doubled it because of other languages with different lengths of words. And Twitter was founded in 2006, all the way back then. Alright, thank you very much for playing another round of Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Hope you enjoyed it this week. Like I said, I always enjoy putting these together, and it's one of those things I'm always wondering at how I do it, because it's and every time I come in here to write them, I'm like, this is definitely going to be the week I'm not going to know how to do it. But managed to bang them out. 8 rounds again. Join us again next week. Don't forget that competition. Details on Harbourside Radio and HarboursideCompetitions.com. If you want to win a brand new iPhone 12, all the details there on the site, HarboursideCompetitions.com. Your chances to win. It's only £5 an entry. Terms and conditions apply, of course, but do check out the website. Big O's Treasure Trove. Win a new iPhone 12. There's loads of other competitions coming up over the next couple of weeks as well, so do keep an eye on those. Hire the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Get in touch with me, bignerdpubquiz@gmail.com. Don't forget a big Star Trek quiz this weekend to celebrate Destination Star Trek, or lack of thereof. But yes, I'll see you all again next week, or I'll see you on Saturday for the Star Trek quiz and for the regular quiz, which is on Sundays, every Sunday, 15th of November 2020. I know we're going into lockdown in loads of different places, so continue to do the quiz for you guys. And it just remains for me to say, have a great week, stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon. Good night.